What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. This one's has been being requested for a couple of weeks now from a few different people, and that is taking on the Chaos 10 Wyvern's Den, or Betsy fight, using archers. So we got our skeletal archers set up with piercer, defense rate, and anti-melee, double tap, destruction, and mass destruction. Now, the deal with using archers on a map like this is the same as any other single target defense, and that is, there's not an extreme mob count, but there is a pretty healthy mob count on this map, and single target defenses can get overwhelmed. So you don't want to, or you want to keep an eye out, as any of your single target defenses could just potentially get really smashed on in a map like this. So let's go ahead and set it up. We're going to go something like this. We'll go with a buff beam there. Let's put one up here too. Now, you can, of course, build right up on here and you give great line of sight. However, you also give line of sight to all of those little goblins that are going to be throwing. So before we move any further, though, let's get our kind of mandatory reflect beam in on this core. Hex throwers from that lane love to take pot shots at this core from all the way up here. So you see they got that little line of sight right there. If you don't throw something down there, you've got that possibility of, getting smacked. Additionally, let's go ahead and throw down some walls. We're going to be using some orc blockades, juggernaut auto repair and automation with accumulator, hardened, and defense rate. Our walls are going to get smacked. There's no doubt. Let's go ahead and go with one like right here. We'll get a reflect beam on that guy. In the middle, I think we will just go kind of like, what? Say right around here? We want the enemies to be able to kind of go through the line of sight area. So we want the archers to have a chance of taking shots at them. And then over here, what do? We can go with a skeletal archer, an orc blockade. Stay right about there, and then right like here as well. And let's just load it up. We're basically going to spend the entire remaining bit of DU on either archers or buffing our archers. So let's just start right here on this lane. We want our dead spot to be where we're not going to have to worry about enemies. So like in this situation, I'm going to go with the dead spot like right along that little side rail. I need to go over just a tickle more, I think. Let's get those over just a touch more. And we're going to put our dead zone just kind of in line with the lane divider. That way we don't have to worry about anything. We want to maximize the usage of the archers and make sure we're getting projectiles out of both sides. So let's just do that all the way down. We're going to put just as many archers as we can on the buff beam. I think we can go one more. Yeah, there is an absolute ton of archers. Now, we're going to want to give these guys all of the boosts too. So let's go with a boost aura right about there. And then we're going to have a little bit of jank with our pylons. So I think we're going to want to use 2 pylons. Which is a little bit wasteful, but just the way this lane is laid out, I think it's going to work out better for us. So let's go with 2 different pylons, something like that. And then we want to do the same thing right here on this one. So we've got a generous amount of DU on this map. Let's make sure to use it. This time, where do we want our dead spot? Let's point our dead spot like right down that lane divider. Something like that, where we're still getting, of course, maximum usage out of our archers. And like I said, you can go with them up on that platform here, but then you are going to have to be conscious of the little goblins. So we don't want goblins destroying our archers, of course. And we're going to have a bunch of DU left over too. So with that, we may throw a little mini stack in somewhere else. Now this archer is a little uncomfortably close to the center area. Of course, the center area is going to get hit with the curse, or has the potential to get hit with the curse anyway. And then let's see. I think we're going to need 2 destructives here as well. This lane is actually close on whether or not we'll need them. What? I think actually maybe we won't. So let's see if everything is getting buffed here before we go ahead and dedicate an additional destructive pylon to it. Let's see now. It actually looks like everything is getting buffed, so no problems there. Could we do the same thing here? We might actually be able to do the same thing here. Let's just try it out. Let's see. If we go, say, right here. Let's see if everything is getting the buff. Oh, they all are. Very nice. All right, so you can see that purple glow going. That indicates that they are getting the value from that destructive pylon. Then we'll get a boost star down there. And then what? We got 240 left. So what can we do with the 240? Well, we can set up another little mini archer section. We want to make sure it's in a position where it's going to be able to hit this lane down below. This will definitely be the tougher side. We got 2 lanes over here to deal with. Only 1 lane over there to deal with. So with that in mind, how do we want to do them? Let's see. Let's just go right up on this column. We'll go, we'll kind of put our dead zone right on the divider again. We can get 1 more down, and then that gives us enough for full buffs. So let's go ahead and give it all of the things. Let's see. We can actually probably just put, let's just put that right there. And we're going to want our destructive pylon. We'll just get it in, say right there. And a buff beam. Say like that. And that leaves me 20. With the 20, you can do whatever you want. I don't even think I'm going to spend it. Let's see. Do I have a lightning strike? That's not a very good lightning strike setup. So probably not going to bother with that. Yeah, I'm just not even going to use the 20 DU. I am going to DPS on my hunter here. Let's go ahead and get those 2 guys in the middle upgraded and let it fly. Now, once again, this is single target defenses. So the more enemies that come, the harder time they're going to have keeping up. You can use explosive arrows. However, you are going to have a fairly substantial single target damage loss by using the explosive arrows. So you want to be conscious of that as well. The start to the wave should be relatively smooth. It will be once all of the enemies are out on the map where we start to have any sort of problems. We've got a ton of archers firing into this side, so other than Chieftain and a few berserkers, I don't think we're going to have too tough of a time on this left lane over here. However, the rest of these lanes are definitely going to take some pressure. And once again, it is all because of the mob counts. The enemies do come out in fairly good groups, which actually would make explosive shine even more. However, I still don't think it's probably very usable. In fact, why don't we just do a comparison? Or I'm not going to have it on me. I'll check and see if I have the shard on me. It is probably in my vault. But we'll take a peek and see if I've got the shard. Got a few little goboos that were kind of out of line of sight there. We'll want to put the smackdown on them. We got a nice big group pushing around over there, but oh no, blockade down. Alright, so that got pushed a little bit more than I anticipated, so let's just burn out the remainder of these. We're going to have to get some upgrades in on that one for sure. In fact, we can just go ahead and build our blockade back right now. We are up, and looking like GG's for the rest of it. Alright, so we're going to want to get upgrades in on that side. There's no doubt. We're going to upgrade that orc blockade, and then all of the archers that are hitting into there. Did not expect that one to go down, but it does happen. Let's throw 2 upgrades on that. Let's get all of this stuff upgraded as well, get a little bit more power. Of course, the more upgrades we have in, the smoother this whole thing is going to run, so let's get these ups, and you know what, let's just go ahead and hit this one too, just to be safe. Let's throw 2 upgrades there, and then we still got some left over, so let's throw it up top. Just upgrade all the things. We'll hit these guys again in the middle, and then we'll get a couple of upgrades in over here as well. Alright, let's go ahead and let it fly here for wave number 2. As we get those ups in, I think the run will get smoother and smoother. I don't anticipate any major issues, but I didn't think I was going to lose that blockade either. So we'll want to keep an eye out. I'm going to check and see if I have that explosive on me. I think it's worth trying out, even though that is not like the standard, a standard go-to that you would use. Since archers are a single target defense, rather than try to make them something they're not, you're better off really focusing on that single target strength that they have. So, you know, with that in mind, I don't normally use explosive, but it's not, maybe not a terrible idea. Looks like we're clearing pretty good here now. I just want to watch that blockade's health over there. Actually, looks like we've got it this time. A little smoother run in there. That one. All right, we got a big old push coming over here. And there we go. So this guy took a little damage that time. Let's go ahead and give him an upgrade. And let's get all of these upgrades. Just to try to even out the ups just a little bit. And then I think we'll just spam some ups in over here. And we built so that we can ignore the curses. The curses are not going to be tragic against our walls because we're not using our walls for damage. The curse here, of course, lowers their defense power. And since it's a wall, we don't really care about the defense power. So no big deal there. I got enough for one more upgrade there. Let's just go ahead and pop it in and let it fly here for wave number 3. And see how we go here. Collect up the rest of this mana, though. The boss, of course, will be a pretty smooth transition. Lots of folks are talking about Betsy one-tapping their core in the lower difficulties. You know, that's something Chromatic would have to look at, of course. But I think the answer there is, in the lower difficulties, do you really have a ton of motivation to complete this map instead of just moving up? So I know that's not the answer, but you can easily just ignore this map on the lower tiers and just move up to the higher tiers. And then, assuming you have a suitable DPS character, the boss fight itself is usually really, really trivial here, as Betsy doesn't have any sort of damage resistance or anything like that. So you're going to be able to just get full power on her without any problems. Got an ogre rolling out over here. The ogre's going to get mashed. Yep, ogre down. Archers do single target well. So, I mean, it's not the strongest single target defense in the game, but it is quite powerful. You get the utility of having 2 different sides to it, which is quite nice as well. Ooh, looks like we were getting mashed again. Oh, you know what? Our little Gobus the bombs are being reflected. That must have been melee. The downside about these particular blockades is, of course, they have no ranged attack. And they do rely quite a bit on automation to stay alive. So with that in mind, you really need to not have your melee build-ups at those lanes. Let's go ahead and hit these other walls just to be safe. We effectively only have one more wave to deal with. So, you know, that makes it a little smoother. We make it through this next wave, it's pretty much GG's. We'll just spam it all in right here and let it fly. Nope, we're not ready to let it fly yet. Betsy's still doing her thing. Person and whatnot. And here we go now. So we clear through this one. It's, you know, we'll be fine. We'll be just fine. I guess I could have moved that blockade back a little. Putting it like right here would have still given me line of sight for all of those archers. I put it up front because I wanted the guys up top to have line of sight, but that may not be quite as important as the others. Of course, the chieftain do what they do. One of the main things, particularly when using single target defenses, that the Chieftain do is they are a distraction. So with that in mind, they are distracting your tower as they're going through their immunity buff, meaning your defenses are not hitting the other, the swarm of little Gobus that might come rolling up. Yeah, we took some nice damage on that wall. I think that wall placement there is probably a little suspect. Moving that would definitely be a good thing. Our ogres we can just pretty much ignore. And looks like we took damage over here too. Or no, I guess not. Got some flyers rolling in. Then we've got that chieftain over here playing Slappy Boy again with our wall. The walls just don't get enough melee attacks in. If it's a lane where they've got like lots of opportunity for melee attacks, they're going to do a lot better because this is a strong wall. They've got very, very good health scaling. However, proper utilization is quite important. And there we go. That's basically it. So we are at the boss fight now. Should be able to just completely melt Betsy before anything at all really makes it any sort of a challenge. We'll want to swap. That way I get the benefit of my swap damage chips. You can kind of ignore that through the main waves. It's just not super important. But swapping is going to be quite nice. That's something I could have done, I think, with that extra 20 DU, is just turn a tree down for a little bit more DPS. That would have been helpful. But we're going to swap it up and just spray it out when Betsy gets here. 5 seconds. Drop our blood effigy here just to get the extra cooldown and a little bit of damage. And here we go. So yeah, just a easy burn with no damage resistance or anything. So there we go, y'all. We got the Wyvern's Den on Chaos 10 using the Skeletal Archers. It's not the best build. It's definitely not the best build. But it is an effective build, and in fact, used to be a completely meta build. I can remember when the Abyss Lord came out, spamming Skeletal Archers on literally every map, not just this one. And this map seemed to do pretty good. So, yeah, there we go. Just keep an eye out on your large packs, y'all, because it's single target defense. And with single target means your defenses could get overwhelmed, particularly with the Chieftain in the mix, causing all of their distractions. Of course, you're going to get the Ring of Earth on this one. I got an armor roll on that one. Not a bad roll for the armor, but I don't think I would want to use that particular one. But anyway, there we go. Thanks a ton for watching. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful week. And I will see you next time around. Take it easy.